Last weekend, 3 days, we saw a series of violent attacks in our city, including one, a targeted attack at North Star Mall. Yesterday, we talked to the mayor about what he plans to do, and he mentioned that he had been having conversations with Congressman Tony Gonzales about what to do at the national level. So our guest today, Republican Congressman Tony Gonzales. Tony, thank you for joining us. First off, I want to talk about your conversations with the mayor, what you guys are trying to do, and how you view what is happening. It's not just a San Antonio issue, obviously, but we're seeing violence across the country. But being a San Antonio station, a South Texas station, that's kind of what I want to focus on today.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Stephen. And thank you for having me. You're seeing this rise in crime throughout the country, and San Antonio is no different. I appreciate Mayor Nirenberg working on this issue. And, you know, him and I, we haven't seen eye to eye on everything. And funny enough, we both attended a fight, the Bam Rodriguez boxing match a couple months ago. And there we were able to sit down and have some one-on-one time, if you will. And he was able to walk through his plan on how to increase the number of police officers for our city. And I was excited about it. And one of the things that we talked about was this can't be a plan that San Antonio goes at it alone. You know, there's literally federal dollars set aside for exactly this through the COPS grants. And so him and I were working on that. They submitted the city of San Antonio, as well as others, the city of Castroville and Medina County Sheriff's Office, or a few of them that submitted these COPS grants. My office put a letter of support behind it, which I think is an important step in how we bring federal dollars from Washington, D.C. down to places like San Antonio, Castroville, Hondo, and other places to make sure our communities are safe.
I know you also, it's interesting that you guys came together during a fight, but that's another story. But you've also talked to the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, about this whole thing, correct?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And going back to the fight, and, you know, imagine, you know, we were able to, the mayor and I were able to accomplish this in a fight. Imagine what we can do when Wembayamba comes to town and we're at a Spurs game talking about what things we can do for our city. But on another note, yeah, yesterday I had lunch with the Attorney General Garland. It was a private lunch. Him and I sat down, and one of the things that I've been highlighting is these COPS and these COPS grants, and been pushing, hey, look, my communities are submitting these grants. I'm putting letters of support behind them, but we're not getting selected for these grants. What is the problem? And I give a lot of credit to the Attorney General's office as well. Last month, his staff and my staff sat down and we worked through what are some of the things that we can do to strengthen our applications. Because what I'm seeing is these grants are getting awarded all over the country. But what about us? What about San Antonio in particular? What about once again, like I said, the South Texas region? How do we bring some of these federal dollars? Until it leaves Washington and makes it to San Antonio, it doesn't exist. And it's not fair for the mayor and other leaders in our city to be able to fight this battle alone.
So, you know, you talk about these federal dollars. The violence is happening right now in San Antonio. So what do you want that money to do? And what's a realistic timing on if San Antonio were to get some of that for it to actually begin making a difference in our community?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is I want leadership to make this a priority. And I think you're seeing that. I mean, you heard that last night from the mayor. You hear that from the police chief. Look, I shop at North Star Mall. I mean, everyone does. And these are stories that we're seeing on TV. And everyone thinks it won't happen to them until it does. And we have to make sure our communities are safe. So that's a big part of what I'm doing right now. Advocating for San Antonio, advocating for safety, and pushing that. That's the today stuff. The more long-term things is helping the city with real money. I'm talking millions of dollars through these federal grants, so that way we can hire more police officers. The Mayor Nirenberg has a robust program in order to do that. I support that. I think I welcome that. There's other things that we have to do as well to get ahead of a problem, but part of it is making sure that our law enforcement have the resources they need to be successful in their jobs.
You know, every time we talk to the police chief about these issues, he points to the ease of access to guns, ease of access to weapons, and how it continues to be a problem and seems to get easier. And at the moment right now, we've got families in Uvalde who've gone through something none of us could ever imagine. They're sitting in Washington asking for an assault weapons ban. And nothing really seems to move. That needle does not move on gun control. What can be done, or is there something happening that's going to make it harder for people to get their hands on weapons?
We just had the 1-year anniversary of the tragic shooting in Robb Elementary, and the community is still healing in many ways. I welcome all aspects of this conversation, and I welcome those families and anyone else that wants to travel to the nation's capital and have a sit-in and push their agenda, if you will. That's what makes America so special. Also, at the same time, is I represent a district that is very vast and has many different opinions. And I'll give you an example. I met with a father of one of the victims the day after the Uvalde shooting. He wanted to meet. I met with him. The first thing out of that gentleman's mouth was, Tony, make sure they don't take my guns away. So it's a very delicate situation. I'm of the mindset you can protect both the Constitution and you can protect our kids in schools and anywhere else. It doesn't have to be either or. I recently founded here in Congress a caucus, the School Safety and Security Caucus. It's a bipartisan caucus. We already have nearly a dozen members. I founded it with Jared Moskowitz, who's from Parkland, Florida. If you remember, the Parkland shooting was about 5 years ago. So we have a lot in common there. I'm looking at it through the lens of what can we get accomplished. I understand some people want assault weapons bans and some people don't want to talk about it at all. I'm of the mindset of what can we do to make sure we protect the Constitution as well as keep our kids safe in school and elsewhere.
Do we have a timeline on when these grants from the Department of Justice may be handed out?
They were just submitted last month. Sometimes it takes a few months. But one of the things that was interesting at the lunch with the Attorney General, he had mentioned that some grants were already being awarded. So it's really kind of on our office to bird dog these grants and just go, hey, what's the status? What's the status? But it's usually over a couple of months in what it takes. And these grants open up throughout the year. So one of the things that I've been encouraging communities to do is, hey, submit these federal grants. And that's where I really take my hat off to the city of San Antonio for doing that and the surrounding areas. Pearsall, the city of Pearsall was another area that submitted these grants. You can't get the money if you don't submit the applications. And honestly, Steve, it's built to where these grants are so complex. It's almost like hieroglyphics, right? The money is never meant to leave and go to your communities. That's why it's so important where the federal government works with local leaders to find and ultimately deliver for our communities, keep us all safe.
Congressman Tony Gonzales, always appreciate your time. And it's good to hear about the efforts that are happening in D.C. as well as happening at City Hall. So thank you for your time, Congressman.
Thanks, Steve.